Companies are pouring just billions of dollars into AI, but most of them are getting almost nothing back. It's probably the biggest question in business right now. What's separating the winners from everybody else? So today, we're going to break down the core message from Michael Bauer's book, The AI Adoption Blueprint, and give you a clear visual guide to making AI actually deliver.
It all kicks off with this really strange disconnect, the AI value paradox. On one hand, you've got this incredible level of investment and unbelievable optimism. But on the other hand, for most businesses, all that excitement just isn't turning into real, measurable results.
Let this number really sink in for a second. 60%. And look, we're not talking about a small handful of companies struggling here. This is the vast majority. Think about that. 60% of companies say they've seen no material value. That means all that spending on AI, for most, it's not leading to more revenue or saving them money. It's just a huge, costly gap between what they're spending and what they're getting.
Which, of course, brings us to the big question, right? If this tech is so amazing and so powerful, where is the disconnect? Why are so many of these well-intentioned AI projects just falling flat? Well, the answer is that failure isn't just bad luck. It actually follows some really predictable patterns. Most companies end up stumbling into one of three common traps that pretty much kill their progress before it even gets going. Let's dig into what those are.
Okay, so first up, we have what's called the tool trap. This is what happens when, every department goes out and buys its own shiny AI tool without any kind of central plan. Marketing grabs a writing assistant, finance gets a chatbot, and before you know it, you've got a dozen different subscriptions that don't talk to each other. It's just chaos, not a real capability. Because, and this is key, just buying a tool isn't the same thing as actually adopting a strategy.
All right, the second trap is this idea, the legacy system myth. You've probably heard this one. Oh, we can't do AI yet. We have to completely modernize our entire infrastructure first. But honestly, the data shows that's mostly just a way to kick the can down the road. The companies that are actually winning with AI, they're not ripping everything out. They're being smart about it, layering AI right on top of the systems they already have.
And then there's trap number 3, which the book calls the hype tax. I love this term. This is basically the price you pay when your expectations are set by marketing buzzwords instead of what's actually possible on the ground. So when your boss expects some magical 50% jump in efficiency and you deliver a very real, very valuable 15% gain, well, that win looks like a failure, and that just kills all your momentum.
So, what's the big takeaway from all these traps? This quote from PwC just nails it. It's not about buying more tech. It's about your methodology. The real win, we're talking 80% of the value, comes from redesigning how work gets done. The focus has to shift from the platform to the process.
Okay, so that's the problem. And that's what brings us to the solution, the AI Adoption Blueprint. And this isn't some high-level, vague idea. It's a really clear, actionable playbook for rolling out AI in a way that gives you predictable, measurable results.
The whole thing is built on 4 steps. And listen, the order here is everything. You've got to govern first, and that's not about slowing things down with red tape. It's the opposite. It's about building a solid framework so you can move fast without creating chaos. Once you have that, then you can run the playbook, a repeatable process you use for every single project. Then you have to measure what matters, because if you can't prove the ROI, good luck getting funding for the next thing. And that brings us to the final step, compound the wins. This is where you take what you learned from one project and use it to make the next one faster, cheaper, and even better. Seriously, you can't skip steps here. The sequence is everything.
So that sounds good in theory, right? But how does this whole 4-step blueprint actually work in the real world? Let's look at how you actually go from just a little experiment to a full-blown operational system. Because the goal really is to get out of what I call pilot purgatory, that place where so many good AI ideas just go to die. So the blueprint lays out a really concrete 90-day timeline. For the first 2 weeks, you do nothing but measure how things are done right now. That's your baseline. Then you get to building and validating the AI solution. After that, it goes live, but in a monitored way, with a human still in the loop checking things. And by day 90, you're off to the races in full production. It's this structure that takes something that feels huge and complex and makes it totally manageable.
But look, this is about so much more than just getting 1 or 2 projects across the finish line. The real game changer, the real strategic payoff, is what the book calls the compounding advantage. The idea is that every single successful project builds on the last one, creating this competitive edge that just grows and grows, exponentially.
And if you want to know what the stakes are,
Get this. A study from BCG found that companies where the leadership is truly engaged in the AI strategy are 12 times more likely to be a top performer in their industry. That's not a small bump. That is a massive, industry-defining advantage. And that, right there, is why this matters to every single executive out there.
So let's wrap this up with one last powerful thought from the book. The window of opportunity to get this right, it's right now. Following a plan like this isn't just about not failing. It's about making a conscious decision to build the kind of company that's going to win for the next decade. So really, the question isn't if you're going to adopt AI, it's how you're going to do it and how fast you're going to start.